is where the mind meets the magic. We dive a little deeper every time. Theme parks, cruise ships, and travel. If you don't listen, it's a crime. Game night is not just for us. We want you to join in too. So put your comments in the chat and show us what you can do. Mousekast podcast is diving in. Join us Tuesday nights for our live show. When hosts let the mind meets the magic, you find out what you need to know.
Hello and welcome to Mousekast, the podcast where the mind meets the magic. We have approached the final Tuesday in June. You know what that means? Heat Dome. For those of you on the East Coast, you know exactly what I'm talking about because we're dealing with really hot temperatures for once, especially for Matt and I. It's hotter here in Virginia and in Connecticut than it is in Florida, and that's saying something. But it is a warm day, but that doesn't matter. We're in for a hot show of a whole different reason. It is game night tonight. So again, huge welcome to Hawk, to Matt, to Megan for game night. And Matt's actually taking it away on this one.
All right, though. But Matt, we have to clarify. What state do you live in?
It's actually Rhode Island. But
it's Rhode Island. Sorry, Connecticut. Okay, Rhode Island. Sorry, the next one over.
As a fellow New Englander, I can't let you misrepresent because Rhode Island is you. If you say Connecticut, you might as well say New York, and if you say Rhode Island, it's still in New England. So, we got to be careful how.
Yeah, so it's Rhode Island. Sorry. All due respect to the New Englanders up there, you know.
We figured we shocked everybody, and I moved them the last week.
Look, if I'm just going to say it right, being a Southerner, he's somewhere north of the Mason-Dixon line. There you go. He's up there.
I'm up there where it's hot like everybody else at this point. So
right, really. Yep.
Right.
So yeah, we're having some rather warm conditions here on the East Coast with heat indices topping 100 plus, sometimes really plus. But that doesn't matter. We're here, and it's game night tonight, and we're thrilled that you are here with us. And so, Matt, I think tonight we're doing a little Would You Rather.
Yes, we are. Would you rather Universal versus Disney World tonight? So I've got a list of different options here between Universal and Disney World that we're going to rattle off. And if people who are watching want to chime in, we'd love to have your opinions on what you would rather choose between the two options. Or if you have a Universal versus Disney World would you rather for the cast, feel free to throw it in the chat as well.
Absolutely. So a little bit of backstory on this. Hawk, myself, Megan all sent in 10 different Would You Rathers, and Matt also put together some, but we have no idea which ones he's choosing. And as he said, if you're watching and you're listening live right now, either on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel, you throw one out too. A Would You Rather, Walt Disney World versus Universal. So Matt, take it away.
All right. So we'll start with a hotel question that was thrown in. Helios over at Universal or the Contemporary? And why?
Okay, ladies first, I assume.
Whoever wants to throw it out there, I mean, it's kind of a free-for-all, so.
I'm going to go with Contemporary on this one for two reasons. One, the monorail goes through it. It's just a feature that Helios just can't top. My other gripe with Helios is that for all the beauty of the look for those rooms that look into Epic, none of the club rooms at Helios look into Epic. None of them have an Epic view because of the way that they situated the rooms. If you are paying for club level, you should be able to be on those rooms that are looking into the park. So for those two reasons, I'm going to go with Contemporary on this one.
You know, it's interesting because, the question that I had posed was something similar. It was club level Helios versus club level Grand Floridian. And it's interesting because I think it really does depend on the room. Because if I'm getting an Epic View room versus a Magic Kingdom View room, I think I don't know. Because I would, you know what? I'm almost second guessing myself. I'm saying maybe Contemporary here because of that nightly firework thing. Because, unless I'm much mistaken, Epic is not nightly in its fireworks. So,
Not
or
yet.
even, not yet. Now, that could change, but we're only going on what we have right now. Yeah, I think I'm going contemporary, actually. I really thought I would be going Helios first, but I think I am going contemporary on this.
Okay, so I got to make a confession. I've never stayed at either of those resorts. And I will say I suggested comparing contemporary and Helios. And the reason I did that is because versus where Chuck put Grand Floridian, your best park views are coming out of the Contemporary or Bay Lake or Helios going into Epic. So for me, Universal doesn't really have a resort that sits on a park other than Helios. Um, Disney does have a couple of resorts that are close to the park that have views. You can watch the fireworks from the Poly or the Grand, but from the top of the Contemporary, you look right down into Magic Kingdom and you get kind of a similar view. So I suggested that for that reason. For me, I would go with Helios right now because I would love to be staying at Epic and be able to explore it more than I've had the opportunity to yet. I was very impressed with the park. I think there are things that need to improve. The monorail to me is not that big of a deal. It's kind of dated. I mean, it smells when you're on it. It's got it's and let's be honest, if it's as hot as it is today in the East Coast, and you're getting in that monorail at about 4 p.m., you better bring an oxygen mask and you better put it on yourself to save yourself first, and then worry about masking your kids because you're going to need some help. It stinks in there in the middle of the summer. It is cool, but I would definitely take Helios on this.
I will say one of the things that I like about Helios from a guest experience perspective, right, at least for right now, is that if you're not staying at Helios and you don't have a dining reservation, you're not just wandering into that hotel to look around, especially from the park entrance. When you try to enter Helios from inside Epic, you have to scan a band or show proof of a dining reservation to get in. So it's not crazy like the Contemporary, the Grand, and the Poly get, and like we've talked about on previous episodes, where it gets really loud, it gets really crowded. If you're staying at that resort, it can be very frustrating to fight some of those crowds of just random people coming in. Helios doesn't have that, and I think from a guest perspective, that's really great. Now, whether or not they change that in the future, who knows? But for right now, you kind of avoid all the madness, which is really great.
It's also $125 to park at Helios if you're not staying there.
Yes, it is.
They do not mess around with the parking charge. So they're doing everything they can to discourage people trying to take advantage of utilizing a luxury resort and then taking advantage of getting into the park via that resort for sure. And Chuck, I know you want to share.
Yeah, so this is from a photo I took in 2011 from my theme park view. I was about to say stateroom because I just came off theme park view room at the Contemporary, and this gives you an example, an idea of what you will see there at Contemporary. But there's a lot of different things. Also, just as a note, I've got a couple of. I don't know if I can actually quickly show the shot. Something like this, which I don't know if let me see if you guys are seeing it now or not. I did a second one that stop screen. And this was, it's not just the fireworks. It is also, and let me share it so you guys can see it. Here we go. It's also things like this, where you get, this is the morning. This is what you woke up to. Just a quick example. I just, grabbed a quick shot from the morning. So, it's beautiful both at night and during the day.
Well, I will say that also holds true for Helios because that park is Epic Universe is absolutely stunning at night, lit up, and it's absolutely beautiful during the day as well. That's one thing they really did is that park is incredibly aesthetically pleasing looking out and looking over stuff. So that I think is arguable on both sides. What do you got next, Matt? This or that? Or what would you rather? Sorry.
All right, so we're going to kind of stay with the hotels, but we're going to go a little bit less on the price range here, and we're going to go Cabana Bay or Pop Century.
See, I'll start with this one, and I'm gonna. I had 1 year where Tegan and I stayed at Pop Century for over 40 nights over the course of the year. Just at that resort, we had 7 trips. We stayed at Pop every time. Love Pop Century. Love that resort. Loved the upgraded rooms. Loved all there is. Love when it got the Skyliner. It was a game changer. We've talked about it before. But if I had to pick a resort I'm staying at over those two, I'm taking Cabana Bay all day, every day. 2 huge pools, like the bowling alley in it. It's inside. Whereas like the bowling alley, all the functional stuff inside the cafeteria, all the things you can go experience are right there inside. If it's raining, you can get to it. The rooms at Cabana Bay are more family friendly, in my opinion. They have more of a family suite style. They have a lazy river at their pool. And the real beauty of it now is you get a private entrance into Volcano Bay. So on days when it is 100 degrees out, you get the bright and early access and a direct entrance into Volcano Bay from your stay right there. I think that would seal the deal for me. Those things combined, I'm going with Cabana Bay.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on and I'm gonna echo Hawk's sentiments there. I would be Cabana Bay all day long. Pop is great too. I've stayed at Pop many times. The Skyliner there at Pop is as you said, is a huge game changer. But especially if depending on the type of room you've got at Cabana Bay, those family suites are great. I have booked several family clients into those family suites, and they love them. They're a little snug. I mean, it's not massive space, but you can comfortably get 5 or so. Maybe 6 squeezing, but definitely 5 or so into those family suites. And again, if you get lucky and you get a Volcano Bay view, I mean, you can't get a better view of Volcano Bay than that. I mean, Cabana Bay is right there. I mean, it's
the Volcano Bay suites are definitely more expensive.
Yes, they are. But
we've stayed in those too. But those are, it's floor to ceiling windows. When you open up those rooms, when you do have the Volcano Bay view. And I mean, that is impressive. It's beautiful. And you talk waking up in the morning and hear the Hawaiian drums beating and the day starting for the park. It's pretty incredible
and on top of that, just the connectivity of Cabana Bay is to all the other parks of Universal is a little bit better, frankly, than Pop Century. Yes, it's a little bit more bus related, but it's shorter. I mean, that's just a benefit of Universal in general. It's a smaller footprint. So
Skyliner changed that. I mean, I'll argue that
it did, but you're still
Skyliner to Epcot or Hollywood Studios is still going to be shorter than most of the bus trips you wind up taking by the time you walk out, get to the bus, and do stuff. By the time they load it and get out. The Skyliner tends to be quicker. You're 15 to 20 minutes pretty much anytime you're getting on a bus because you're going to sit for 5 minutes while it loads, and you're going to probably sit for about 5 minutes as you unload. So, I mean, the Skyliner is nice because it's not that long of a wait. It does move quickly. Obviously, at Rope Drop, you're dealing with the same either place, because there's going to be a lengthy group of people trying to get to the park first thing in the morning. But those lines are pretty quick. I just love Cabana Bay, but the Skyliner still is the best thing since sliced bread that Disney's had to offer.
So I have 2 answers to this because
there's only 2 options, Megan. What do you mean?
This sounds like a Chuckism.
It does.
I've been on the
just
show.
let it note that it's a Meganism. It's not a.
So I'm gonna agree with Hawk and Chuck. The better resort here. Would you rather is, if we're talking about in general, I'm at Cabana Bay. However, for my personal stays, I'm going to pick Pop Century, and it's going to be because of the Skyliner, and because I don't spend a lot of time at the resort. So a lot of those amenities at the resorts, I'm not doing anyway because I'm in the parks. And so the Skyliner for me makes Pop Century more park friendly. And so that's more what I'm drawn to. My gripe with Cabana Bay, I just really don't like the theming. It's great, but it for me, that the retro theming feels cheaper than Pop Century does, and it's not my thing.
Wait a minute. Where else can you get a bar of zest in this day and age? You can get VO5 shampoo and a bar of zest soap.
Hey, I appreciate the commitment.
Ask housekeeping to give you a couple extra bars. You can take it home with you. It's awesome.
I appreciate the theming and all of
I
that.
appreciate it. You weren't even alive when we were talking about this. Chuck and I are the only ones.
No. I remember Zest commercials when I was very young. Matt probably does too.
I am definitely not going to wade into this one.
But I will say one of my gripes with Cabana Bay, and this is a logistic thing. I'm a logistic person. So these are things that stick with me that, the rest of y'all are going to go, oh my gosh, she's just like nitpicking. So the last time I stayed at Cabana Bay, my room was from like when you enter the main lobby, I don't remember what the building is anymore because I haven't stayed there enough, back left corner. And it was on the outside of the building facing the parking lot. We weren't there for the view. We did not do the volcano view. There's no signage specifically telling you that when you go down to the very end of the building and turn a left, you have to go through the security gate to get out to your rooms. And I had never stayed back there before, and neither had the person that I went with. And we arrived at 2 different times. Both of us were like trying to figure out, are we supposed to go through that gate? Like, are we supposed to leave? The inside, like, it was the weird, it was just, I did not appreciate that from a logistical standpoint. I arrived late at night. If I had my family in tow, young children in tow, and I'm like wandering around hoping I can find the room, it wasn't, just not my favorite thing. On the other hand, my favorite part of those family suites is that they break up the shower. There's a toilet by itself and the sink by itself. So like somebody can be in the shower, somebody can be going to the bathroom, and somebody can be brushing their teeth all at the same time. From a family perspective, that is phenomenal setup.
This wasn't part of the resort question, but that is a beautiful thing about Art of Animation directly across the street from Pop Century. We were over there this weekend walking around, and we were talking about the fact that one of the benefits of Art of Animation is 2 bathrooms, the master suite bath and the main room bath. And when you have small kids and 2 parents, like one can be in the shower, kids can be in the shower, next can be on, like, it's so much easier to get ready to go to the parks than sharing one shower and bathroom.
Well, small kids or bigger kids, if I've got teenagers, the fact that they can have their own bathroom at Art of Animation is, sign me up for that.
100%. All right, so I didn't mean to hijack that, but I did want to point it out for those of you considering the bathroom issues. Both Cabana Bay and Art of Animation have benefits, even though it's not 2 bathrooms in Cabana Bay.
And I just want to note out that I'm thrilled to hear that Tom is still zestfully clean. Thanks, Tom, for letting us know that.
Yes, I agree. I bet he's not today unless he just got out of the shower.
Well, given the fact that he's here in Virginia with me, we're both, dealing with the sweltering conditions.
All right, so the next topic, we're going to find a way to possibly cool off. And we're going to go Volcano Bay or Typhoon Lagoon.
The whole thing, not something in particular, just the entire park. Straight up? Oh, wow.
I got to throw Chuck under the bus on this one for a minute, because Jen and I both kind of analyze this. Chuck on his list said the lazy river at Blizzard Beach, Typhoon Lagoon, or Volcano Bay. Who lays down in a lazy river and has their eyes open? Once I'm in that river, I am just knocked out. I could care less if it's going around Pop Century, Caribbean Beach, the parking lot of Magic Kingdom. I could care less. If I'm in a lazy river, I'm being lazy. Now, the whole park thing I get. You want to know the differences, all the water parks. But Chuck, the 3 different lazy rivers, they're lazy rivers. I don't care if it's the one at Cabana Bay that's 6 feet long. Once I'm in it, my eyes are closed. I'm getting the sun and I'm out to the world. Anyway.
All right, so
Sorry,
folks,
rant over.
do you see and hear the abuse that I take on this show on a weekly basis? Just because of Hawk. There's a reason lawyers are here covering this show every week.
Yeah.
So I will I will see your lazy river, and I will raise you one, because actually Volcano, and I am, by the way, taking Volcano Bay. I think Volcano Bay is the best water park in Central Florida. That's how big it is. But Volcano Bay actually has 2 quote unquote lazy rivers. The first is their traditional kind of lazy river. I'm doing it in quotes. Hold up, Hawk. Mute yourself. Stay away. The second, though, is a less than, and that's why I said less than lazy river, because it is a lazy river on steroids. So you have to wear a life vest. You're not in a raft or anything like that. Look at him. Hawk's attempting to.
Crazy river.
Yeah, crazy river, whatever. But
Crazy
it
river.
is.
Crazy river and the crazy river.
Yeah, whatever. So they're a similar concept, and I love that one because it is a way, especially for those who don't want to do, like water slides and have to do all that kind of stuff. It's a way to have a little bit more thrilling and something a little bit more adventurous to your lazy river experience than just having to bump Hawk out of the way because he's snoozing away in the damn thing and he's in the way, and we got to bump his butt out of the way. So.
You can't even really snooze in the lazy river. I'll be totally honest.
You can't.
The waterfall fountains are kicked
right.
out every time. But the crazy river, to your point, something that you didn't mention on that people may not be aware of. You do not get to use tubes or floats in that.
That's correct. You're in a life vest only.
You have to wear a life vest as well. You can't go into it without one. But it is a more like, I don't want to say whitewater experience because it's not that far, but it's close. There's a pretty strong current that runs through. It's a good little run, and it is a lot of fun. Chuck, I'm with you. I think Volcano Bay is bar none the best water park in Central Florida, but not because of its size, because of its efficiency. The system they use there, it's called the Tapu Tapu. You use it basically like a magic band that you would at Disney, but when you go to rides, you tap your bands, you get a return time. So they have a water coaster there, an aqua coaster. It's one of the most popular rides there. If you're there early in the morning, go there immediately. Set your stuff down at your chair, go to your locker, get whatever you're getting, walk to the aqua coaster, get your time. If you're there early enough, you'll probably get a return time somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes. That usually within the first hour gets up over 100-minute wait. So if you're going to want to ride it more than once, start your day there. If you can walk on, walk on. If you can get a return time within 15 to 30, get your return time, go back. When you get off, tap it again. Then you can go ride crazy river and the lazy river, whatever you want to do. Go to the tidal pool, the wave pool, and enjoy yourself, and then go back to it. You don't have to stand and wait in line at the rides at Volcano Bay, which is amazing.
Okay, isn't Tapu Tapu going away though?
I don't know, is it?
Didn't they announced within the last couple months that they're getting rid of it? And I've never understood why.
Well, they must have some new technology they're going to try to do then, or something.
That's my question, because I'm 100% with both of you, but I also agree with Hawk. It's because of the Tapu system. But if they're getting rid of this...
Yeah, it is. At the end of October 1st of this year, Tapu Tapu is going away. So
I want to see what's coming next.
On it?
I think that there's some... The conjectures could be that there's some issues with maintenance to it and things like that, but there will no longer be Tapu Tapu starting October 1.
Well, in that case, I really love Aquatica.
even with Tapu Tapu going away, it's still a pretty efficient.
Once again,
system.
guys, tonight we're doing a little bit of a would you rather, and this was Typhoon Lagoon or Volcano Bay, and those watching, comment in, share your thoughts. I know Tom's zestfully clean, but which water park would you rather go to if you're not zestfully clean? So if you're feeling like you need a little refresher, which water park are you going up? And I'll go to the other one. But let us know what you think as we move on, because that's 3 for Volcano Bay. Chuck, do you have a photo you want to put up here? Oh,
here we go. There we go. So this is just another little tidbit I love about Volcano Bay. This is just one of the 5 faces that are there on the volcano. Can you find all of them? This is just one of them.
Picture.
Huh?
I can't find all 5 from this picture.
I didn't say there were 5 here. So can you find all 5 on the volcano around? So another little fun bit about Volcano Bay. All right, Matt, what's next?
All right, so we're going to go into the parks, and we're going to go meet some characters. So would you rather meet characters, do meet and greets at Universal or Disney World?
See, I think this one I think is kind of easy, and it's Disney World. The sheer volume of characters you have available at the various Disney parks, resorts, everywhere, restaurants, whole 9 yards, I think really blows Universal out of the water in this respect. That Disney, I won't say they built the park around characters, but the parks were definitely created with the idea of character interaction in mind. So if I'm going and my primary goal is to meet characters, I'm heading to Disney.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with Chuck before Hawk probably disagrees. I'm trying to figure out what this look on.
Yeah, I'm reading his face. I can hear the rumblings right now. Have we got the lawyers ready to go?
I'm going to go with Disney, but for this one, my reasoning is really simple. I just like Disney characters more than I like the Universal characters. The different movies, series, and all the characters that appear in the Universal parks just don't hold as much appeal for me personally. So I enjoy interacting with the Disney. I've been going to Disney, for so many years. Getting to see the same characters as an adult that I also saw as a child, there's a lot of nostalgia there.
Well, heck, half of them are Disney characters anyway, and they're just over at Universal because Disney bought the IP of all of them anyway.
I didn't say that.
So man, this is a tough one for me, and I'll be honest, there's a couple reasons why. Just this past weekend, we went over and had breakfast at Topolino's Terrace and had fantastic character interactions while we were up there. And then when we were leaving, they actually had Pluto was downstairs walking around out by the pool and in the rec area. And then as we were walking out to go to the Skyliner, Donald Duck was walking up in his traditional costume and was escorting 2 women back to the hotel and skipping up. And I had a Donald Duck shirt on, and they stopped and we had this interaction. It was really magical. It was just kind of a spontaneous thing. And, we played it up. I hammed it up with him. We had a good laugh. Everybody was laughing. We had a good time with it. I think it's amazing. That being said, Universal holds a very unique, different edge over Disney that Disney doesn't have. And they say it all the time in the parks. We're not Disney. And they get more interactive, more vocal and opinionated. Their characters are far more apt to have a little edge and not be on the politically correct side. I mean, you can get into debates with Donkey and Shrek and the Minions, and like some of these interactions get absolutely downright hysterical, bordering on whether or not they're even appropriate at times. I mean, they obviously are, but the fans push the envelope more at Universal, and Universal doesn't stop it. They kind of feed into it. We've had great interactions with the crew from Scooby-Doo. We've had great interactions with Beetlejuice, Marilyn Monroe, Betty Boop. And then you also get into the characters that do exist there. You can meet and greet with, you've got Kung Fu Panda and all the characters from that. You've got the Marvel characters you can interact with. Yep, as Chuck is throwing up a picture right there.
This was 2011. Granted, this was back when masks were around, but me and old Spidey. So
you said 2011.
All right, 2021. Sorry, 2021 when masks were around. Sorry.
I was like, you were wearing masks early, buddy. But I think Universal has a unique edge because of that. And that's why I struggle to make that choice, because it's a very different character experience. It can be much more down my alley, let's just say that, than Disney does. So I like both, but I do agree with Chuck and Megan. I would give the edge to Disney over sheer volume of characters. But Universal is getting up there. And Universal is also, with the new park, I will tell you, being able to meet Mario and Luigi.
Toothless.
Able to meet Brett. Well, I was going to get to that, Chuck, but thank you for stealing my thunder. But I was going around the world there. But the Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein and Igor and the people in Dark Universe, and even in the Wizarding World, when you see the shows and when you're in there seeing stuff, some of the performers are just amazing in the Harry Potter area. And then you get over to the Isle of Berk, and I mean, you can meet Toothless. You can meet the characters from the movie. And it's not just a simple pet a stuffed animal. It's an interactive meet and greet, and it's very impressive the way they did it. So I think Universal is definitely catching up, but I still right now would hand the edge to Disney for characters.
All right, so we're going to stay with characters for this next one. And we're going to throw in a character dining experience. The Marvel character dinner versus Cinderella's royal table. I threw this one in.
That's tough.
Here's my problem with this question. Cinderella's royal table for me is not about the characters, it's about the location of the meal. You're inside the castle. That's what makes CRT the in-demand dining experience it is. It is not the princesses that are coming through. You can meet those princesses in a variety of other places around the parks. So as far as characters go, I'd probably, if we're talking about the character interaction, I'm probably going to lean towards the Marvel dinner, because I don't feel like Cinderella's royal table is because of the princess. Like, if I'm looking for princess meal, I'm going to head to Askershus over at Epcot. I'm not going to do Cinderella's. The price tag on Cinderella's, the fact that you pay it when you book as opposed to when you get there.
That's just so the only reason they do that is so you don't have a heart attack on the trip. Because, like, at least when you pay for it 60 days early, and you get that knocked out, you're like, you just paid for half your trip and, it's already done now. So, I mean, they were smart making you pay for that in advance, because that shock factor, I'd be throwing bills at the waiter. Be like, what?
Yeah, that's brutal. I'm going to give the edge to Marvel here.
Okay. Chuck, what do you think?
Yeah, this really kind of, to Megan's point, this all depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking for princesses, obviously you're heading for CRT. Although, frankly, I'm with Megan. I'm going to Akershus before I go to CRT.
And if you're looking for America's, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but if you're looking for aside from princesses, and you're looking for Marvel characters, albeit not the Marvel characters that you're used to seeing. These are not the MCU versions of Captain America and Wolverine and all these. These are not the MCU. These are the original comic book or cartoon editions. Yeah. Okay, so just be forewarned that, just so you.
But they are very animated.
Oh, they are. Well, they are very animated. They're a lot of fun. Just as Hawk is very animated, but that's an Adult Swim sort of thing now. So Really? No comments on that one? Okay. I probably would, though, lean towards the Marvel character dinner.
Really?
Yeah, I think that here's the other thing is that it's a little bit more, and the food is also the issue here. You know, Cinderella's Royal Table, I mean, it is good food. It's fine dining, but it's fine dining. And so, you know, if I'm doing characters, odds are I've got kids with me.
It's a fine dining price.
Well, no, it is a fine dining price, and there's no argument there.
No,
but
I don't know that it's fine dining. It's fine dining price.
well, no, the menu is a little bit more. I mean, you've got charcuterie boards and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's a little
the
more.
menu is fine dining. The execution is not always fine.
You know where I'm going with this. Yeah, the menu is definitely more towards that fine dining experience where, you know, over at Cafe 4, over at Universal, I mean, you're dealing with a buffet. It's much more like Hollywood and Vine kind of character experience. But with that, I probably would go with Marvel. I think you get a little bit more bang for your buck. Certainly requires a lot less bucks, but I do think you get more bang for your buck. But Megan does bring up an incredibly important point. People don't go to Cafe 4 because it's Cafe 4. People will go to CRT, to Cinderella's Royal Table, because they want to dine. They want that experience of being inside Cinderella's castle. So there is something to that. But if I'm choosing between the two, I'm going with Marvel.
Okay, so I'm curious, Matt. If it was up to you, where would you go?
Probably Cinderella's Royal Table. If I'm going with the kids, that's definitely where I'm going. I've been there once with a group of friends. We're all older, and still we got the character experience was still like almost like we were kids. So I found that really good, and I didn't, I thought the food was really good. And I've never been to Universal, so I can't really comment on that aspect of it. And I'm not I haven't watched a whole lot of Marvel, so it's not a huge interest point for me. So if I'm going somewhere, I'm going to CRT.
For me, I can honestly say it would be neither. I would not.
I'm sorry, but that was not an option.
It is an option because there was no rules laid down prior to this evening's topic. Like, we were just
really, and you guys get on me about this kind of stuff.
So I'm just saying, like, this was not clarified. So I'm being honest. For me, it would be neither, because the amount of money that I would spend at Cinderella's Royal Table, I would rather put into Topolino's Terrace, because I feel the food quality is significantly better. And I also feel the character interaction is significantly better. So for those two purposes alone, never mind the view you get at that restaurant, I would take that money and go to Topolino's.
You bring up a good point, because again, Megan and I both said if we're doing princesses, which is the reason you're going to CRT, we're not doing princesses at CRT. We're going over to Epcot and we're going to Akershus, because I think it's a better experience and it's better food.
And I'm marrying my princess at the end of this month, end of next month. So I mean, I don't need to go see princesses. I'm gonna go see the characters that I enjoy the most, like my man Donald. Like,
okay, what have you done that you are sucking up this hard?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jen, he's in trouble for something, so he's trying to get.
As our listeners just went, oh.
Yeah, no, all two of them, and one of them is probably Jen. So
yeah, really. So Jen, Hawk's in trouble for something. He's done something wrong, so he's guilty because he's already trying to suck up. So
trying to get brownie points,
that, or he's just bankrolling it for when he does screw up. So
brownie points where you can get them.
I think she would comment if she wanted to that I did not screw up. I am not yet.
Matt, what you got next?
You guys are harsh. What are we doing? Yeah, moving on.
So we're going over to rides. So we're going to do Rock and Roller Coaster or Velocicoaster.
All right. Hawk, I'll let you start because this is right up your alley. Folks listening right now, he's sitting there adjusting his camera and showing his Velocicoaster shirt.
Velocicoaster all the way. There is nothing better than the Velocicoaster. I'm glad you did this because rock and roll, even though Guardians of the Galaxy is what would be the most popular coaster, most likely at Disney, Rock and Roller Coaster is the closest thing that Disney World has to the Velocicoaster. Has a corkscrew in it, has a loop, has the things that are very similar to the ride, except it's all in the dark. And there's an element of Rock and Roller Coaster that's really exciting because of that. And, just being honest, I love Rock and Roller Coaster. I'm very nervous about what it's going to sound like when the Muppets are singing. And I just have a hard time thinking that ride is going to be the same if they're jamming Rainbow Connection. But, hey, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. But Rock and Roller Coaster is a fantastic ride. However, Velocicoaster is just on another level. The footprint that much is put into in such a small footprint for a roller coaster with that much energy, excitement, and just ride quality, I think that still is, if not the best coaster in Central Florida, because I know some people would argue that Iron Gwazi is better. Some people have even made the connection that Stardust Races is better. I don't think that Stardust is a better coaster. I think Stardust has a uniqueness that no other coaster has by the flip when both cars look at each other for that split moment on the track. But Velocicoaster, hands down, to me, is the best coaster in Central Florida, and I don't think anything can touch it. So Universal would win in that thrill ride department overall over Disney. But when you compare those two that are as close as you could get for a Disney coaster versus a Universal coaster, I'm taking Velocicoaster all day.
I'm going to go in a unique direction with this because if there's no way you're going to find me ever riding either one of these things. I've never ridden them. I'm never going to ride them. However, if I, as a non-coaster person, was going to ride one of them, I would choose Rock and Roller Coaster. Therefore, Velocicoaster is obviously the superior roller coaster because I won't even like that. It would not even occur to me to ever put myself in that situation, which means it's got to be bigger, it's got to be faster and more intense. There's just no way. So from a coaster perspective, it has to be Velocicoaster because I'd actually might possibly consider in some other planet getting on Rock and Roller Coaster.
Megan, let me ask you this. Would you consider that due to the fact that it's in the dark, or consider that because it's the lesser of two evils?
I think for me, maybe lesser of two evils in the sense that again, I haven't ridden either one of these, so I have to rely on what other people tell me about both of them. My understanding is that despite the corkscrew in Rock and Roller Coaster, and the fact that my husband gets off with a hurt neck every single time he rides it, now that we're in our 40s, that the intensity is higher and more extreme with Velocicoaster. And that's where I kind of go, ugh. I don't know that I really, like, that's the thing that keeps me from Velocicoaster more than the corkscrew, I think.
So let me ask you this. Has your husband ever ridden Velocicoaster?
My husband has never been to Universal.
Megan?
He's a coaster junkie. Hawk, when we come down eventually, like, y'all can just go run off and do all the coasters because he will ride every single one of them for you.
We need to get your hubby we need to arrange this. And when I'm done kissing up to Jen and she's ready to forgive me, I'm just kidding. But we'll arrange this.
See, he admitted it. There's going to be an intervention going on here. So
I will just send him to you for a weekend, and because my kids are way too young for me to spend time at Universal with them. So I'll keep the kids at home, and I'll send David down to you.
Yeah. Go ahead and put it on screen, Hawk. Go ahead.
That's right.
So Jen did just log in. So Jen, first of all, the fact that you're dealing.
We don't have to put it on screen. You can vouch for it.
Yeah, so she does say Hawk is right. He's not in any trouble. I still say yet. We'll see. I'm in the same boat as Megan here. I rode Rock and Roller Coaster in my last trip a couple of weeks ago when we kind of did a one day at Disney before the cruise. Where I was not on the show a couple of weeks ago. I've ridden in fact, I rode Velocicoaster during the previews before it was open to the public. And That's an attraction. I will just tell you right now. Again, I laughingly say it's designed by some of the most evil people in the world because once you get off, you have to get off the attraction and go down a set of stairs. Good luck with that. But if I look at this through the lens of a coaster junkie, if I look at this through the lens of a thrill seeker, you're going Velocicoaster all day long. I mean, 5 seconds total of upside down time. Multiple inversions? There's correction. I'm sorry. It's like 2.5 seconds contiguous upside down. 5 different weightless moments. Just all these different things to it.
All I can say is the first time I rode it in 90 seconds, my butt came off the seat 13 times that I counted. And I was counting like that the time I was up, and I was like 13 times I went up in 90 seconds. That ride just, and you're right, Chuck. The first time you experience it, you literally get off and go, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, really. I mean, I was just like, your body is assaulted. All of your senses are assaulted by this thing.
And caveat, I've got to admit this. Jen and I met to ride the Velocicoaster. There will never be a coaster that is any more special to me than that one. And it is the best coaster. We both feel that. But even when they invent a better one, that will always be our favorite because we met because of that coaster. So that one's winning for me hands down.
Yeah, again, it's for thrill rides. You're going to be hard pressed to find something more
Matt,
thrilling than Velocicoaster.
How about you on this one?
Yeah, as I say, Matt.
Yeah, I'm with
Matt's
Megan.
with me.
Yeah, I'm taking care of the kids. My wife's off doing the roller coasters. I'm just sitting there. I'm pushing the stroller.
Which one watching makes you want to throw up? See, there you go.
Yeah,
just watching it, I look at that and just go, "Oh gosh!"
You can't watch Rock and Roller Coaster though. So that's
fair point.
An unfair assessment because you can't see it.
That is true. All right, Matt, what's next?
On YouTube, that's good enough for me. So, the closest I'm getting to those rides. All right, so we're going to stick with rides. I'm going to throw a twist into this one after we answer the initial question. So, Jurassic River Adventure or Tiana's Bayou? Which ride are you going on?
That's kind of interesting because they are different styles of attractions. This is what. Well, I mean, Jurassic River though, you have a well, Tiana does too.
They're both
flume rides. Gosh.
And they're both about equal length.
Yeah, they are both flume rides. I was kind of thinking more towards like Cali River Rapids, but really Jurassic is not Cali River Rapids.
No,
Jurassic is much closer to Tiana. You're right.
They have Bluto's Barge, which would be closer to.
Yeah,
Cali.
you're right. I am going to go with Tiana's, and here's why. Much as I do kind of miss, definitely miss Splash Mountain. I miss Splash Mountain. It is not there for
that. Hold on to that thought, Chuck.
Okay, but for many reasons why we know why Splash Mountain is no longer here. Technologically, though, you still have a number of it presents a really good story. I know there are some issues with some people about the nature of the story. We're going to set that aside. It still does a good job of telling story and introducing a thrill into that story. Plus, you do have multiple drops. Well, Jurassic does too, but you do have several drops and things like that. So I think that it does a good job of telling story with good animatronics and everything like that. So I will go with Tiana's. This, of course, is assuming that the attractions are operating because, there are issues, of course, with maintenance on these guys because they're water-based attractions.
I'm also going to go with Tiana's. My reasoning is very simple here because flu rides are not my thing because you're not locked in on these, and I have nightmares where I fall out of the front of these rides. So I only ride them under duress, but I will ride them. Tiana's at the top of that hill. You got
define duress when you're at Disney. Like I want to hear this because I will ride them under duress. Like someone is following you. Like You're
Well,
gonna get on the ride. You're gonna get on the ride. Like you're at Disney World. You're on vacation. There is no duress. Come on. What do you mean?
Okay, pressure.
Why is there duress?
Pressure.
It's been a
Familial
long time since Hawks
pressure.
had small kids.
No.
My kids have not ridden it. My kids have not been tall enough to ride it yet. Now, this next time we go, they will be. So,
Okay, so that's your duress is them asking and you going, well, okay.
is my not my children, my brother, who is a very tall 6'4" pain in the butt. That's really who I would send to Hawk. My brother and Hawk together would be terrifying. But at the
Bring
top,
him down. When you get your husband to go to your Universal, bring your brother. We're gonna have a great time.
Brandon
You're
will go ride all those rides too. He
new
would love
levels you've never seen.
But with Tiana's at the top of that hill, right before you drop to your death, sort of, you've got the view of the castle. At least you get to see the castle before you potentially fall out of that log and die. That's all I got. Like, that's what I'm going with.
Okay, so you're sticking with Tiana's. I'm actually I mean I can't no Tiana's no. There's a T-Rex at the top of the drop that roars at you, that comes out of the darkness and terrifies little kids. It's awesome. You watch their expression.
Before you dump me out the side,
Oh, it is the best. And there's dinosaurs that spit on you while you're riding up. I mean, it's the best water guns in the world. Like, no, I'm taking Jurassic Park all day long. There's part of the original ride in the original movie with the gates opening into Jurassic Park and the music and the theme and everything else. And that section of the ride is just so amazingly, incredibly done. It's got that magic pop when you go through every time through the doorways. It's really just amazing. It is a dated ride at this point. It is older. Tiana's is new and updated with different animatronics that have just basically been refurbished for the most part, with a couple of new ones. But I still would give the edge to Jurassic. And I think I know where Matt's going with the twist on this one. So what is the twist, Matt?
So the twist was, what if it was still Splash Mountain and not Tiana?
Splash Mountain all day long, every day, all day,
And
always,
yes,
and
absolutely.
forever.
Yeah, Splash Mountain all day long.
Yep. And I think if that's Matt tonight, I think Matt would agree with that. I think Matt would also say Splash Mountain all day long. We'll see if he comments on it. But I think he would agree with that. So what else? What else we got?
All right. So
Matt
I'm going to say the big one for last.
Okay.
So let's do one. All right, this is one that I'm going to throw in. Universal's Mardi Gras or an Epcot festival?
Oh.
Ooh. Well, you're gonna have to be more specific because which one of the upcoming?
No.
So I've never been to Mardi Gras, Universal, all that stuff, but it looks like it's happening in the springtime. So we'll do Flower and Garden because I figure that's around the same time as that, give or take.
Ooh. Mardi Gras all day. Mardi Gras is just another level at Universal. It's so fun.
I have not been to Mardi Gras at Universal, so
No.
Universal is just not my thing. I've been there sparingly over the last 10 years. It's just not.
So Megan, have you ever seen the Christmas parade at Universal?
Yes.
Okay. What would you say of that versus like MK's Christmas parade?
Oh, see,
It's close. Right?
I think Universal's parade is phenomenal. I think what puts Disney ahead is not the parade itself, but the fact that I can watch on Main Street and the castle's there. For Disney just has this edge of for me, it has an edge when you consider location. And some of the backgrounds that you get in some of the shots and that experience, and that plays a lot into it. I'm not a parade person in general, so by themselves, neither one would be like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. The reindeer and Cinderella at Magic Kingdom freak me out, so that parade ride gives Universal the edge because those reindeer just scare me.
You only watch them under duress too.
Exactly. Yep, pretty much. I don't like those reindeer. They creep me out.
So the reason I asked that is Universal does a great job with parades, but they are different than what Disney offers in the parade realm.
Definitely.
However, the Mardi Gras floats and the fact, this is what I think makes this particular question go to Universal. Universal allows people to sign up and ride the floats to throw beads. It is just so interactive and fun to watch actual guests be in the parade and see the joy and throwing the beads out to people, and just creates this vibe that the energy is just unmatched at anything I've ever experienced in theme parks for that kind of event. It's just a different feel. And I really think that Universal really hits it out of the park with that realm. I love Flower and Garden. It's not my favorite festival of all of them, and I think that holds true for a lot of people, but I do know a lot of people that would say that's the best one of the year. So me personally, that's not my shift, but Mardi Gras, if you've never been to Universal to experience a Mardi Gras parade, you need to do it at least once in your life. The floats are off the charts.
All right, so Hawk, how long does the Mardi Gras parade last?
20 minutes.
All right. Flower and Garden all day long, every day.
I know.
And I can get Flower and Garden,
and that's why I say 20 minutes. Woo! Give it to me every time. 20 minutes.
Nope.
Then I'm out.
There's a softball there that I could take a swing at, but I'm not going to. So, yeah. No, that's the thing. I mean, this is why I'm going with Flower and Garden. I can experience Flower and Garden and appreciate the benefits and the elements of Flower and Garden literally from park opening to park close. Between, eating around the world at all the different kiosks to the various topiaries. Matt, who has said Flower and Garden, Epcot is at its finest during that festival. I agree with you. I think Flower and Garden is awesome. And so for that, I really actually would take Epcot's International Flower and Garden Festival over Mardi Gras, because I get you. It's a good parade, but it's a 20-minute parade and it's over and done with. Where this is something that goes on all day long. So stop it, you people. Matt, what do we wrap us up on this? One more.
All right, so last one
before Hawk gets in more trouble.
Megan answer?
Yeah. Megan did not answer. Sorry, Megan. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to go with Flower and Garden. Parade. If we're looking at a parade as just a parade, other than Paint the Night over Disneyland, you're never gonna suck me in with just a parade. You got to have more than that. So I'm gonna go with Flower and Garden. I love Flower and Garden. It's not my favorite either as far as the festivals at Epcot. In fact, it's not even.
And on that note, though, by the way, news earlier this week: Disney Starlight starts on July the 20th. So we'll see what that does.
And Mardi Gras Universal does have food, by the way. Just to point out.
All right, so we're gonna end with the obvious big hitter: Universal or Disney World. Would you rather?
Just in general, the whole thing?
Oh, no. Let's put a little caveat on it. Put
All
a
right.
timeline on it. Like, give it, say if
How
you
about a
had
week?
1 day or 3 days. How long?
A week. Let's go. Let's do 5 days.
All right, you're going to do a 5-day vacation. Are you doing 5 days at Universal or 5 days at Disney? Okay.
Yeah.
Megan,
I
I'll
have
let you
one of
start.
these booked right now. I'm going to Disney every time. I can't spend 5 days at Universal with or without. It has nothing to do with my kids. It has nothing to do with that. I'm not a thrill person. Disney all day, every day. I can go for 10 days and I still can't do it all. Just give me all the Disney.
So I think in fairness, I could go for 10 days to Universal or Disney and not do it all, because when you're talking the world-class theme parks that exist in Orlando, you're never going to do it all. Like, and I mean, just being fair to that, you are always going to find something at either Disney or Universal that you've never done, never knew existed, or learned about, or something's new from the last time you went. So, or something else has closed. So they're both ever evolving world-class entertainment and theme park destinations. And I don't think anyone here can argue that. 5 days, I agree with Megan in the sense that 5 days you probably don't need at Universal. You could do it in 4, and with Epic, because you could do a basic 1 day at every park, but 1 day at Epic. You may need 2 days to do everything at Epic with the crowds they're allowing in now, and the fact that there are only 11 rides there. So lines do get long when you're talking about 40 to 45,000 guests being able to fit in that park. As they get up to those numbers, you might need 2 days to do that park. Volcano Bay, 1 day. And honestly, if you get park-to-park tickets for 2 days for Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, you can do pretty much everything, even without Express Pass, and get through that park, those parks. 5 days, I would say Disney for 5 days. If it was 3 or less days, I'm taking Universal every time.
Yeah, see, I'm in Megan's camp here. I'm Disney all day long. Again, it's the same situation. I'm not a huge roller coaster person. I like some roller coasters, but not. Again, I rode Velocicoaster under duress. I mean, that was one of these that, you know, it was a preview. It was one of these of, you're on a preview, you need to experience this for your clients, and I'm like, okay, I will. And I got off and like,
family members bring
okay.
cattle prods to you guys. They're like,
well,
anyway. Get on the ride.
But yeah, I mean, if I'm spending 5 days, I'm definitely doing Disney. First and foremost, and this was, it was one of the would you rathers that I'll sneak in here in some respects of nighttime activities at Universal versus Walt Disney World. There are none at Universal because the parks always close so early. Universal closes. Huh?
That's incorrect.
Well, what time's Universal close?
Right now, they're all the same. It's matching Disney right now.
Are they matching Disney? Because when I was there a couple of years ago, Universal was like closing at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and this was like May. So
they do close early sometimes. That's often associated in May and June with grad bash nights for the kids. So there are nights where they close early, but Universal has the sensational spectacular going on. That's the water show, fireworks, and drones event. So that's
that
actually
drone show. I have to admit, it's pretty cool. But that being said, though, 5 days, I still would definitely do Disney because of everything that you have available to you. That's at Disney. But you're not really at Universal. Well,
Chuck.
No, I'm compared to Universal. Yeah, I'm definitely a Disney person. Okay. I mean,
let's be honest. I'm literally probably 50-50. Yeah. I literally love the best of both. I thoroughly enjoy Disney. Most of my memories when my daughter, when she was young, are focused there. But Universal has great things that it brings to the table. And with what they've done over the last few years, from bringing in Harry Potter, doing the things that they've done, building Epic Universe, bringing a world-class best water park in Central Florida to the table. Like, think about it. Disney in the last 20 years hasn't brought anything to the same level that Universal has. Since IOA opened for Universal, Disney has not matched with anything that extreme. Universal's opened IOA, Volcano Bay, and Epic Universe. Like, they have brought their game to a whole new level, and they are a true competitor of Disney right now. For the first time, you can say it's damn close as to who has the edge. Now, Disney will always have the numbers edge because of its longevity and the fact that it has 3 times the resort availability, numbers of resorts. It has almost 400 restaurants on property. Like, it still dwarfs Universal in the overall scheme of things, but Universal has elevated their game to be a direct competitor and leveled the playing field for what they brought to the table as far as theme park entertainment.
Oh, no, I think without a doubt, because that's the whole premise of last week's show of, what would Walt do? How would he compete? Because if you don't think there's a competition between Universal and Disney, folks, there's a competition now, and Universal has shown up and said, we're here to play. And so the question now becomes, in the next decade, what does Disney do to try to reassert the dominance that they have relied on for decades, and that dominance, I think, is eroding. You're right; they still have by far a numbers advantage. More people are coming to Disney than they are Universal, but that's for now.
I will say September and October, Universal kills it because
Halloween Horror Nights,
Halloween Horror Nights is insane.
Yeah, Halloween Horror Nights brings in a ton. So, Megan, you were getting ready.
Well, I was just going to say that the thing with something like this is really it's so individual, because there is inequality now that we didn't have 20 years ago between the two companies and the two sets of parks. And so it's really about the type of vacation and the vibe that you're looking for, because they are two very different feels when you head to one or the other. And so it really is about your personal, you can't really there's not a right or wrong answer to this. And as we're saying, Universal or Disney in any of these things, there's not a wrong answer. It's, because
right.
they are two phenomenal theme park companies who have put together entire resorts that you can spend multiple days at, and they have hotels that go up against each other. And even as Chuck and I are full on Disney people, but we can still recognize the greatness that Universal has, and how things are better over there. And so as we look at what's better, or what would we do, even that could change in the next 5 years. Let's see what Disney does.
And that's the point. And Megan, you touch on a great point right there, because I don't even think Disney World is where it is today without Universal.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think those expansions would have been as extreme and focused, as they have definitely driven each other into the world-class. Orlando has become the tourist capital of the world for a reason, and I mean, what it brings to the table is truly incredible. And both Universal and Disney have done that. And, Disney is about to embark on several projects over the next couple of years that could flop, could be great, could be amazing. No one knows yet. I mean, next week we get Test Track back, or is it this week?
No, Test Track is July 22nd.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's right. Sorry, the previews are going on right now.
Yeah, the previews. Sorry. Yeah, previews start, but officially July 22nd is Test Track.
Some of us may get to rent it, but July 22nd, you get a new view of what Test Track's going to be. Looks pretty cool. We'll see. Is it just the same ride in a new experience with new vision again? We'll see what they do. But this is the time where both Disney and Universal, because they're already talking about expansions and new portals at Epic Universe. So this is a very competitive time, and there is no sign of anyone slowing down, and there is no sign of the cost going down for these parks either.
Well, not when you're hearing Disney say we're committing $60 billion, and that's billion with a B, to theme parks. Now, granted, that's global, and that also includes things like the cruise line and all that. But still, $60 billion, that's a big chunk of change to devote to theme parks over the next, however many years.
Well, when you put that in perspective, Chuck, that's 60 Epic Universes, because that was a $1 billion park.
Yep. That's a lot of money to be able to the Disney has said that they are going to devote to the parks. So it is going to be definitely an interesting time. What do you think? If you've been watching, thank you so much. If you're listening to us, be sure to share out your comments on our Facebook page. This is episode 78 of Mousekast, and it's our game night. Remember, we're doing this every Tuesday night live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Come and be part of the conversation. Again, like tonight, it's game night. We do this on the final Tuesday of every month. So next month, by the way, July, remember it'll be later. It'll be the 5th Tuesday because there's 5 Tuesday nights in July. So we want to thank you so much for listening. And for those that have shared in and chimed in live tonight, thank you for being part of the conversation as you're listening and watching Mousekast, the podcast where the mind meets the magic. Be sure to see us on Facebook at Mousekast 2025 or over on our YouTube channel and join the conversation live every Tuesday night starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Until next time, we'll see you.
5 times in July.
Yes, that's right, 5.
Thanks for joining the Mousekast podcast. Our favorite show gets it right. It's the last Tuesday of the month. Thanks for playing along with game night. This is where the mind meets the magic. We dive a little deeper every time. Theme parks, cruise ships, and travel. If you don't listen, maybe now it's time. Game night is the last Tuesday of every month, so mark it down to join us again. We can't wait to see what the next game is, and who knows, next time you may just win. Mousekast podcast is diving in. Join us Tuesday nights for our live show. When we let the mind meet the magic, you find out what you need to know. This is where the mind meets the magic. We dive a listen, maybe night.